Hello, Akila here with Introduction to Scandal in the Bible. If you thought your family was messed up, you have nothing on Jesus' family. Here we're going to talk about things today don't talk about at church. Things you maybe thought about but wondered. We're here to try to answer things and clear things up for you. So, if God's willing, we will get started with Genesis chapter 4. Open your Bible and let's unpack it together. Chapter 4, verse 1. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I've gotten a man from the Lord. It says Adam knew his wife. He knew his wife more than one time. This was not their firstborn child. I think it's a common misconception that it was, but we'll later see, and we'll unpack it together, why Cain was not the firstborn. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So Abel was a shepherd, and Cain was a gardener. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel he also brought the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, which also means angry, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. Now let's unpack this. Why did God have more respect for Abel's offering than Cain's? And we have to go to another chapter to explain that to us. So we're going to go to the book of Leviticus. Now, in Leviticus chapter 2, it lets us know that in verse 1, And when we will offer a meal offering unto the Lord, his offering shall be a fine flour, and he shall pour oil upon it, and put frankincense thereon. So this was something that God wanted. Maybe, we don't know exactly what. It said the fruit of the ground. We assume grain. It could have been anything, but if it wasn't prepared properly, then it wouldn't be acceptable to God. And we see for Cain, Abel's offering, Leviticus chapter 1, verse 13. Verse 3. If his offering be of a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. Sounds familiar, right? Jesus, male without blemish, sin-free. He shall offer it to his own voluntary will at the door of the tabernacle and of the congregation before the Lord. So this is what was required. It had to be a young calf, or a young, because he was a young lamb without blemish. And now we understand why one offering was more acceptable than the other. I hope that clarifies things. If not, please let me know down in the comments, and I'll try to clarify everything for you. So now let's go back to Genesis chapter 5, because a lot of people think that Adam and Eve just had Cain, Abel, and Seth. Where does Seth come from? We got to go back to chapter 3 for that, but I want to unpack this and let you know why it wasn't just Cain and Abel and Seth that were the only children. Okay, so we're going to go to Genesis chapter 5, verses 3 through 5. And it says, Adam lived 130 years and begot a son in his own likeness, after this image, and called his name Seth. And the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. So if you think someone's going to live 930 years and only have 3 children, and it later tells you he had sons and daughters. So trust me, let's go back to chapter 3 and then we'll see how this all makes sense. So we go back to Genesis chapter 4, verse 9. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed of the earth, which have opened her mouth and received thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, Therefore, whoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. Now this is the part that really gets you. So Genesis chapter 4, verse 16. And Cain went out of the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And chapter 17, verse 17, and Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. Where did the land of Nod come from? He lived on the earth. Adam lived on the earth 930 years. So, Adam and Eve were making some babies. Okay, we know Adam lived over 930 years because of Genesis chapter 5, verse 5. He was 930 years old when he died. And let's say when Seth was born, he was 130 years old. Now they had already had several children because Cain killed Abel. And it's a common misconception that Adam and Eve only had 3 children. Like, who would have 3 kids after over 900 and something years on the earth? We know that Adam and Eve didn't have birth control and they had nothing but time to create babies to work the land. So there you go. That's how Cain was able to go to the land of Nod. So who did he end up marrying? That's the question. Was it his sister? Because Adam and Eve were the only 2 people, the original people on the earth. And then they had several babies where they went out and made their own towns, their own cities. So did Cain marry his sister or did he marry his niece? We don't know. But we do know she was a close relative. If that's not scandalous, well, it's not really scandalous because that was all they had. So I guess this episode wasn't too scandalous, but I hope it helps someone understand because there's a lot of misconceptions about the Bible. All right. Thanks for watching.